welcome to the Nameless Ones. As I'm sure you're aware, we have our eclipse, the first eclipse of this season, starting on the 14th. So in my communication with Spirit, with the angels, these are the messages and themes I have for you. So if you are a regular on this channel, and if you connect with being a blue ray, being a crystal, earth angel, indigo, early indigo, basically if you are spiritually conscious and aware, if you are somebody who knows your spiritual truth, these messages are for you. So slow and steady is a theme. Many people feel overwhelmed, or their emotional body become more intensified during eclipses. So it's important that we honor that in ourselves, but also in others. Today is the 11th of October, and I haven't really felt that cosmic emotional energy for a while, but I'm feeling it today. I didn't sleep at all last night. I was up during the night, and with some of my health issues, they sometimes wake me right smack bam 3-4 o'clock in the morning, which is a very spiritual time to be awake, because that's when DMT is happening in your brain. And I could feel that change, that heightened emotions for the collective kicking in. So slow and steady. So slow down, take a breath, step back, have a good look fully around you, and ground yourself. It's important to ground during eclipses. So be thoughtful and calm in your interactions, because not only for you but other people may be just that little bit irritable or on edge or exasperated. There is a feeling of fatigue, exasperation, just like, enough is enough, I've had enough kind of feeling, energy, especially today on the 11th. So that's probably going to amplify as we approach the 14th. Expect news, transformational news of change, emails, letters, texts, etc. So if there was a letter you're expecting in the post, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens over the next few days. If you're expecting to hear back from a job promotion or an interview or a housing loan or the county council, this is a time that you're probably going to get the news. It is a very fated, destined time. So fate is going to find you. So if you've been waiting on the sale of a house or an engagement or some big transformational shift that is experienced through receiving news, the eclipses will eclipse things out and bring things in. So that can be expected too. Now, autumn in nature wants to take your past and past behaviors, limiting beliefs, negative beliefs, beliefs that keep you small in your life, and return them to the earth like the flowers and the leaves. I thought that was a beautiful image. The angels just really gave me this colourful, vivid image of all those beliefs about keeping ourselves small, about feeling like we owe an explanation or an apology to someone when really we're just being ourselves. All those negative beliefs about not being enough, not being competent, being afraid of life, just like the leaves off the tree, just falling and then just being dissolved back into the earth and turned back into neutral energy. That's what I could see. Emotions, energy in motion, fatigue, tired of the same patterns. Like I said, many of you are feeling, this old chestnut, this old karmic pattern, but the truth is it's done. You don't need to worry about repeating that. The only way you'll repeat that is if you use your free will to willingly go back to those old situations, those old ways of being, those old behaviors, those old connections, and willingly put yourself through the ringer again. And why would you do that? Why would you? With all the awareness, with all your wisdom and connectedness, you just wouldn't do that. Okay, so feeling the wisdom and guidance of your ancestors, Don't be submissive. That's a message for somebody. Don't be submissive. Keep a balance, keep calm, but know in your interactions, if perhaps it's the big boss man, perhaps it's a mother-in-law, hold your space, honor what's in your heart. Don't bend what's true for you so as to avoid hurting somebody else. It's not going to serve them and it's not going to serve you. It's just better to be a clean, honest, raw conversation. Just do it. And you can do that with kindness. You can do that with love. You can speak your truth with love. It's very, very possible. In fact, it's the healthiest, most direct way to communicate. Stand tall, chin up, smile and remain calm. Calm is a big one that is repeated throughout all these messages. Know the ancient truth of I am that I am. I am that I am is one of the most powerful phrases and sentences you can say to reaffirm, to clear, to clarify, because that is an absolute anchored truth. Nothing can interfere or change that. I am that I am. Say it with me. I am that I am. Because the I am presence is the name for source, for God. So I am that I am is you claiming your God force nature. Emotional around wanting a clear and present transformation. Take a hike, take a break. So you might be feeling energies, emotion, frequencies coming up around not wanting to repeat old patterns. There can be a weariness by the time we reach eclipses and eclipse season in general. So go for a nature hike, get out into a forest bathe, go for a dip in the sea, but definitely take a break. Eclipses are meant to be downtime. It's a time to rest and recover and reflect. Honoring your heart's truth. Following this will reprogram you. Following this will reprogram you. And for some people, especially this first eclipse, could bring up matters of ego over the heart. So you need to be really honest about which it is and what's actually happening with that. Is it the heart that you're listening to, or is it the ego? Because the ego can sometimes be very clever in convincing us that our heart wants something that it actually doesn't. Themes. Knowing what you will not repeat. Again, death, patience, passion. Death, patience and passion. South Node is about death. It's about completing something. It's about an ending, but we know that without endings there are no beginnings. You cannot have that new beginning without completing this ending. So knowing that you will not repeat that old chestnut again, that karmic cycle. We are ending a 9-year cycle. So thinking back to like 2014, this cycle is about connections, relationships, and what you believed you had to do to connect to others. For many people since 2020, that's been a big expiration. What you believed was necessary that you had to give up or sacrifice in order to have love, receive love, be loved, or to love. We're looking at that, we're challenging that. That big cycle is wrapping up. So, sometimes these cycles go out with a bang. Sometimes they just quietly peter off. It just depends on your individual journey. And if you want more detail about your soul journey and your soul path, you can book a session with me at aveendoyle.com. I will put that in the link below. This eclipse can trigger you around areas connected to your parents, your family dynamics, and family belief systems. Triggers around your environment during childhood that affected your world view. So as you can see, childhood, attachment styles, whether you're anxious, whether you're somebody who pushes people away, all this is tied up to our connections, our romantic relationships, our friendships, how we interact with people. And that's the 9-year cycle that is being wrapped up and completed at this time. You may have one more lesson or a little bit of homework left to do in that during this eclipse. You may as well roll with the flow, because eclipses are destined, and the universe has ways of stepping in and removing what is not for us and does not bring us to the truth of where we're headed and where we want to be and who we are becoming. Anything that is not compatible with who we are becoming will be removed. What needs to be eclipsed out now? That's what they asked. Regarding these dynamics: childhood, triggers, family beliefs. What family beliefs did you inherit that are not true for you, that are not reflective of the essence of the 5D multi-dimensional soul that you are? You can walk away from that. You don't need to explain it to anybody. You don't need to get your mother's permission. You can say, that's not for me. I'm choosing my own path, and this is what feels good for me in my gut and in my body, and trusting that body's intelligence. Because if you don't say no to something, your body will say no for you. Sometimes I know that I got sick recently because I wasn't saying no to certain things in my life that were having a terrible impact on me, or that were draining me, or that I had allowed things to get out of balance. So my body said no for me. My body gave me that rest and that time off. It ended up me having to go through some crazy medical life experiences, but my body made sure that I got to say no. So take it from my experience. Don't go the hard way about these things. You're better off just saying no and saving yourself the hassle of having to get sick. Reset, upgrade as you choose what relationships mean for you and who you want to evolve with now. Who you want to evolve with now. Who you are choosing in your relationships, in your everyday interactions. You get to choose who that is now. And who you choose now will have a big impact on the rest of your life, on the second part of your life. Destined partnerships are magnetized to you now, but you must release the old ways that don't work to create space for compatibility, positive communication, changes, justice, balance, and beauty. What a mouthful. Destined partnerships are magnetized to you now, but you must release the old ways that don't work to create space for compatibility, positive communication, changes, justice, balance, and beauty. Trust divine timing. If you are worried about missing it, you will block it. You cannot miss your fate. So many of you are worried about meeting your soulmate or your future spouse, or your best friend who's going to be your best friend throughout the rest of your life, or maybe you're worried about finding your life's purpose and fulfilling your soul role. If you constantly worry about that, you actually hold it away from you. You actually block it from happening. So it's really important that you know that you can't miss your destiny, you can't miss your fate. What's for you won't pass you by, and you will cross paths with your soulmate, your twin flame, when you're supposed to. And not a second before and not a second after. And if you give gravitas to your doubts and fears, you're actually choosing a doubtful, fearful reality version of those events. So be careful with that. Not to bring any fear. I never want to instill any fear, but it is really important. I'm telling you this because you can drop your fear and you can trust and you can know that divine timing is at play. Now, I love this. Simplify. And this has been a big theme for me personally. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Pull back all the extra ruffles and frills and just strip it back. Back to basics. Presence. Take it back to presence. Anchor into the presence. That's what really has caused this strengthening in me and this shift, me coming out of the dark into the light. I just surrender to the presence. of and went right into that void of presence, and it is so healing, it's so balming, it's so soothing. Pause. Don't repeat old patterns. Dissolve the karma. This is all scribbled down. Pause. Like, this is not a time to go doing big crazy action moves, right? This is just take a moment, take a couple of moments during the eclipse time, okay? Dissolve the karma. Communicate with kindness, but realness, honesty, firm honesty. Then they said the fire element, what is being set on fire, burnt off so you can move forward now, needs to be burnt away. So whatever's been eclipsed out needs to go. We know that we can trust that when the universe steps in and eclipses things out, it is for our highest joy. It is for our greater good. Reconnecting back to your full soul self, the whole soul. I love that. The whole soul. I'm going to write a poem called The Whole Soul. Reflections through friendships and colleagues. What are they mirroring back to you? Is it true? Does it resonate? Sleep disturbances, wild, crazy dreams. Lots of healing happening during sleep. And this can cause us some disturbances because on a conscious level, you can wake up and know that you've dreamt about something that has given you information and shown you, that's what was going on there. Or even just a waking up with a sense of peace and calm, knowing that a healing has happened, that the angels have been working on you. Hyper awareness, balance, intense vigilance, so as not to go through a karmic cycle again because it's done. Okay, so with the wild dreams, with the psychic activity at night, there can also be hyper awareness, which can be very exhausting. Like, as I said, I didn't sleep well last night. I'm feeling really frazzled today. But we need to balance the intensity and try to bring things back to a more simple, calm, neutral space. And that will really help us move through these changes, because there is big change afoot. And just taking that hyperactive vigilance down in volume so that we are grounding any excess energy that's running on the surface, and just grounding it and anchoring it is really important. I had an amazing healing experience happen while I was awake. I woke up during the night when I was going through all this health stuff. I couldn't sleep. And it's not like me, I'd actually got up and went downstairs and sat down in the sitting room. And then the angels appeared to me and they pulled me into, it looked like, they said it was like a Arcturian, Atlantean dimension I was in. And I was put on this big slab and there was all this solar energy working on my chakras, and they had this big gold, like a crystal laser beam thing that it's very hard to explain, especially when you're this tired that I am. It was amazing. And that was a turning point for me, even though I had gotten bad news, which turned out to be a misdiagnosis. I didn't know that at the time, but I woke up the next day and I was calm. I was centered. And I knew that no matter what happened, I just knew that I was okay and I was going to be okay. I just knew that. Didn't matter about anything else. And that's when I turned a corner, and that's when then the outer reflection, even though nothing had changed in my circumstances externally, internally I changed. So then the outside had to change and mirror that back to me, and that's exactly what happened. And everything came full circle. Now this all happened over the course of 5 weeks or more. And everything started to make sense again, and there was just this incredible strength that I feel you're going to find soon. And if you haven't already found it, it says here, being affected by changes in your job, home, and the way you interact with others, changing lifetimes of bad habits and limiting beliefs, fate will find you. Strength in your relationships will be revealed. So the relationship dynamics, the relationships that are strengthening you, that are honoring you, that are fueling you and connecting with you, they will show up greatly around this eclipse on the 14th, okay? And also it'll connect in with the themes of the second eclipse then later in the month. Artistic time, creative collaborations, and then they just said ego or the heart, question mark. So that's the choice, right? Are you going to choose your ego or your heart? Because the ego is the 3D and the heart is the 5D, and you have free will, you're a free spirit, you get to choose. I hope that these themes resonate for you, and if they don't, as off with my videos, a lot of people say they come back and watch it again 2 weeks later or a week later or even a month later, and then they're like, it all makes sense, because I'm picking up on energies before they're happening. But if you're a high sensitive channel, you probably are experiencing this right now, because you'd be picking up on it too. You'd be picking up on these energies in advance also, because we're all in the same boat, right? So it is really great to go back, and even myself sometimes, because I'm channeling these messages for me as much as for you, in that, this is the angels' messages. So sometimes I'll click on a video I recorded a month ago or 2 weeks ago, and I'll be like, oh my God, I had no clue when I was actually recording that, how that was going to play out in my own life. Wow, the angels are incredible and they're so accurate. So yeah, if you want to show me that maybe you're connecting with this energy already, maybe you're a high sensitive and you're already feeling this, you can give me a thumbs up. You can also share in the comments what's going on, or if you're feeling this, or maybe you're feeling some other themes that you feel are really pertinent for the humanity, the collective consciousness right now, and I'd love to see your take on it, because I can learn from you as well. We're all learning from each other. Have a very, very blessed eclipse. Mind yourself, do pause, do step into the presence, do something that requires nothing from you. If that actually makes any sense, allow yourself to do nothing, basically. If you have to work that day, obviously work and tend to your responsibilities, but don't overstretch yourself, and definitely as soon as you can, sit back and curl up and do something that requires presence, stillness and a pause, and just feel and just tap into the heart, because I do feel that this, especially on the 14th, this upcoming eclipse, it's very much based around the heart. Okay, God bless.